What's up, guys? Welcome to Level Up the Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Bowen. We look forward to talking to you guys today. What's up, guys? Chris Bowen here with Level Up the Podcast. I am here with Johnny of Smart Aquatics. Johnny is a badass designer, architect, engineer, you name it. The man can do it all. I've known Johnny a long time. I've been very blessed to get to know him over the years. He is truly one of the best in the pool industry. And he's going to kind of talk to us today about how he has grown his business, how he has developed relationships, and how he's blown up on social media. So, Johnny, why don't you take a minute to introduce yourself, man?
Well, first of all, I appreciate that. That was a hell of an intro, Chris. That was probably the best introduction I've ever received in my life. I'm gonna save that and, and play it back a couple of times after this. So what? No, I really mean it. Thanks for having me. This is awesome. What was the question again? Sorry.
So, introduce yourself, man. What do you do? How did you get to where you are?
So my name is Johnny Nalepa. I'm the owner of Smart Aquatics, which I started with 5 years. This is year 5 for us now.
Has it
Started
been
at the
5 years now?
Yeah, man. It's been a roller coaster. It has been a literal roller coaster. And you know what? This was not the plan at all. We just briefly talked about this, but I mean, I started it at the end of 2019. I just purchased a car. I've got a new house, and then COVID happened 3 months later, like in March of 2020. And I was already kind of, you know, trying to figure out what I was going to do next. Um, but yeah, it's been a roller coaster, man. So I've just been blessed. It's probably been the hardest thing that I've ever done. You hear it a lot. Starting a business is not easy and all this kind of stuff, and working 20 hours a day and no sleep and not eating healthy. But that's all. I went through all of that. I mean, I think I worked myself into like burnout essentially, where I just
Oh
kind of
yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
yeah, I found myself sitting at the computer like in the morning, got in the morning, and after like 2 years, and I was just like, you just feel unmotivated. You're just like, why? I've been doing this for 2 years. It's like every day, 20 hours, like day and night. It's like that's all you do is eat, sleep, and work with a lot less eating and sleeping and taking care of yourself.
Right.
Um, but but it was good. But so, anyways,
So
so
I've
well,
noticed you doing a lot more site visits as well. Is that kind of helping with the burnout a little bit from not being behind a computer?
well, yeah, definitely. Now I have a grasp on everything. I mean, the
Yeah.
first couple of years are certainly the hardest. Now um, we're really gearing up to start growing and taking. Now we have the right people and the right team to do that. Um, so yeah, it's. I don't want to say it gets easier, but
No, it
it
doesn't get
gets
easier.
no,
It gets
it doesn't get.
manageable.
Well, you know what? It's interesting because there's days where you wake up and you're like, dude, I'm killing it. This is awesome. Money's coming in, projects, cool, and cool projects at that, not
Yeah.
just like money projects. And then there's other days where you're like, how are we going to make payroll? Um, it's
Yeah.
you start to really what I'm realizing now, and I'm reading a lot of books now because I have a lot of colleagues and friends that just send me books. It's funny because a business consultant that I work with, he was saying, well, people usually send you books for one or two reasons. Either they think you could use the help
You
because
need it.
because you need it, or they see potential and like, yeah, they think this can take you to the next level and stuff like that. I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's the latter. That remains,
Right.
yeah, we'll see. That remains to be seen. But anyways, I'm realizing, it's interesting. Um, a lot of I was doing a lot of the work at the beginning of this stuff, right? It's like now I'm realizing I need to learn more. I need to learn as much about business as I do about as I know about, you know, water features and pools and stuff.
Design and pools
Yeah.
and yeah, all
And
that
it's
stuff.
there was actually
Yeah,
a
I mean,
great
that's how you go from. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I was going to say that's how you go from working in your business to on your business.
yeah. And you know what? That's an easy thing to say a lot, and I would say it for a while. And I grew up in a family business, so I kind of got to see that. And I didn't even realize what it was until you started hearing that, and then you're like, oh, what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
Most people are self-employed and they don't even realize it. They almost there's a great
That's
book that I
exactly
read.
right.
Have you read the E Myth?
I've heard of it, but I haven't read it. But I've heard good things about it.
It's a really popular business book, and it's one of the it's the first book that I read as far as business is concerned. And I'm not a big reader. I hate reading, but I realize that I like to learn. Um, and so it gives you like practice. It talks a lot about what being a business owner actually means instead of being like self-employed. A lot of people have their own businesses.
Yeah, there's a huge
Um,
difference.
but yeah, 100%. And my parent and I kind of grew up knowing that, but just like it was an unconscious thing. Like both of my parents were self-employed for 40 years. Um, but we could never take a family
Yeah,
vacation for longer than a week or so because if they weren't working in the business would go out of business. So that's the difference. There's a big
yep.
distinction, in that. So,
Yeah,
um,
there's a difference between working to, owning a business and having a job within the business
right, right,
versus being the real owner of a business and being the CEO of that business, and
right.
that business being able to run without you managing it
One,
day to
and,
day.
and I'm sure in any industry, but especially ours, because it's so specialized, and you know this. I mean, it's hard to find
Oh
and
yeah.
trade. Anybody, even if we find somebody who has 15 years of architectural experience, which by the way our senior architect does, he still has to learn about edge conditions and weir napes and all this stuff. So there's a big learning curve
Yeah.
regardless, unless you come from this industry and you have experience in it. It, we it, it's
Well, and even then, a lot of what you guys are doing is so advanced that even people from within the industry don't know about it. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you guys are doing is just now being considered more mainstream. It
right,
hasn't been on residential projects in the last 10 years.
right. One,
That's when we started seeing it pop up, was maybe about 10 years ago.
yeah, and I think I always say like we're like the pool industry is kind of its own bubble, and we're always last to the table as far as like technology and being progressive
Yeah.
and everything. And
Yeah.
it's a result of like the market right now. Look what happened during COVID. Everybody, this market exploded. Our business, I mean, we increased 140% in 2021, and I think 2022 was another like
That's
157%.
insane.
Like those 2 years of COVID, we just exploded. And
Oh,
now we're back to like a regular 40%. That was what we grew last year, which is more along the lines of
yeah.
standard.
Which is still incredible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's great. I
That's still
mean, but
incredible to grow 40% year over year.
But you know what? If you ever hear one of my favorite quotes is like, it's success can ruin a business that's not ready for it. So you get in the habit of,
Yes.
and we've seen this. We know a couple builders that have probably done this, where you bite off more than you can chew. We were getting projects
Oh
in
yeah.
left and right, and I needed bodies. I have a hard time saying,
Good building.
at that time we're like, that's what we needed. We're trying to build a business. It's like, oh my God, here's all these opportunities to build this business. Problem is, if you just say yes to all these projects, it's like, well, now how do I get them done? So I had to hire a bunch of people really quickly, and I didn't know the first thing about hiring. So that was like the first thing I had to learn, and I learned it the hard way. I seem to learn everything the hard way, but we were just talking a little bit about this. If you don't know how to hire, you don't know how to hire self-managing people, and
Yeah.
and and you probably don't even have the money to hire those type of people. So at first, I hired bodies because that's what we needed. We need anything was better than nothing, and then you quickly realize this is creating more of a problem for me than I'm doing twice as much work now because I'm going
That's
behind the
exactly right.
right.
That's what I was going to
Yeah,
say. I've experienced that firsthand myself, of where you get to the point where you're like, well, I can't fire this person because I have to have somebody. Otherwise, I have to take on the entire workload. But at the same time, I can't not fire this guy because I'm doing my workload already and then having to come back and correct theirs.
and man,
And that's
it
not
was,
cool.
and you know what, man, I forget who asked me this at one point. It's like, what's the hardest thing about running your business? And obviously, it's been 5 years now. So where I'm at today is like,
Night and
I've
day.
I've grown a lot, in the
Yeah.
last 5 years, just personally, and you kind of have to do that in order for your business to grow. But
Yeah.
it's funny because I went home and I thought about that, and I was like, man, because there's so many obvious things that are tough, but when you peel back all the layers, managing my emotions in those times was probably the hardest thing because it makes you want to yell at your people and snap and just and curse
Or
and
scream and throw stuff, and you can't.
yeah, push him out of the way. All do it. And I did that a couple times, and it just makes you bitter,
Yeah,
and then you realize you're sending emails to clients and you're upset, and just man. So that was like you gotta. But really, that's a bigger problem when you don't have the right people. When you have the right people, there's a
it
lot
is.
less. It makes a world of difference. So
Yeah.
that's
You got to check that ego and that emotion at the door a lot of times as a business owner. And it's not an
100%.
easy thing to do. I mean, there's a lot of times that you want to email clients back or email somebody back and get snippety with them. And you just can't do that as a business owner. You
Oh
shouldn't.
yeah. No. You always have to. Unfortunately, we have to always, for the most. I say always, but for the most part, I would say 99% of the time, we have to
Yeah.
respond with just
Kindness.
professionalism and all. Yeah, yeah. And trust me, there's clients, especially when we're dealing with these clients that have more money than God. Some of them, some of them feel that way, and yeah,
Yeah.
they just have unreasonable expectations, and just you send them. We just had a client the other day. We sent them. Our renderings are pretty damn near perfect, and we've even had
Yeah.
architecture. Yeah, we've even had architects say, "Oh my God, your renderings are so good. Can you do rendering for us? They're better than ours." And we had a client who's just one of those types of clients that there's no pleasing him. And we sent him a really nice rendering for free, by the way, um, because we figured that would help ease his decision making. And he's one of those guys. But his only response, by the way, he didn't even bother responding to the actual, like, is this what he wanted to do? He was just like, the rendering is not good. Like, so just,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah. I've seen the
Okay.
renderings. They're very good.
Yeah, I mean, the last one we did we rendered the whole island of St. John, and I mean
Yeah.
it was beautiful. Um, that's Simon, by the way. He's our 3D specialist. He's the man. He pumps out those
That's
renderings.
crazy. So I've seen a project of yours blow up on social media recently. To walk us through this Lamborghini pool, man. I see you got the matching Lamborghini in the background right there.
You know what? That was not on purpose. That was just it's been there. We're actually gonna do. You know, we I have a sense of humor, for better or worse, and so when we were doing that pool, we're like, oh, I don't know why I saw these little mini toy cars for kids, and I think one of my friends' daughters just got one for her birthday, so I was like, oh man, we should get the little Lambo and do a video with it, and we did one. Wise, it's pretty funny. But we're actually going to give this one away on our
Love it.
social media soon. But
Good. Good.
no, that was that project. I think
That's
everybody
a
was
killer
super.
project.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's super cool, man. And um, I mean, I think that's the first time, to the best of my knowledge, that's ever been done. You know, except for like the movie Project X, where they drive a car into the. But that's the first time
Yeah.
like a exotic car
So
has
for
been.
those of you who haven't seen it, walk us through kind of for those listeners who haven't seen the project, walk us through kind of what the project was.
So we're calling it the Lamborghini Pool or the Lambo Pool, and essentially, part of the pool has a deck level perimeter overflow kind of landing strip, whatever you want to call it. It's just a very narrow area that's made specifically for the client to drive his Lamborghini into the pool. And that area only has like an inch of water and some bubblers. And so he wants to park it there and leave it parked for events. He's just
Yeah.
a big car guy. He's also got a Ferrari in his movie theater room. He's got like a Ferrari on the side with a big panel of glass in front of it. So, but that project, man, I always have
That's
to
cool.
give, yeah. But there's a lot of people involved in that project. Like Fox Terra Design
Yeah.
they did the actual design of that. Custom Pool Systems built it. So we just, developed their design and engineered it. But yeah, man, these are all a team effort. We obviously, we always want to give credit to the team. But it's a very exciting project. And I got actually, when we did the photo shoot, I got to drive the Lamborghini in and out of the pool there. I'll
No
send you some,
way.
yeah, I'll send you some videos and stuff on that.
That's
But
cool.
it's a really unique project, and so I just want to do cool projects, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, all the business stuff, and yeah, but it's just like we just want to kind of make a name for
You just want to
ourselves
do the
and
fun
just
stuff, man.
do cool
Stuff you
stuff.
enjoy.
Yeah, yeah, you know. That's what
I love that, man.
that kind of for me is what it boils down to. Look, man, I used to be a pool boy. I used to clean pools for a living and work out in the sun, and just I hated it. I'm a creative type, and I'm
It makes
kind of
two
an
of us.
entrepreneur. Yeah, I did that for 20 years, and by the way, but I wouldn't be where I am at today if I didn't do that. That's got me all my experience. I mean, um,
Yeah.
so now it's funny because my dad jokes, "Oh, don't you miss it?" And I'm like, absolutely not.
No, not even a little bit. Not even a little bit.
Yes.
I
So
feel you
just
there, man. That's where I cut my teeth was cleaning pools as well. So
dude,
I don't miss that one
in the
bit.
summer, man, in the August, especially in Miami, dude, in the summer
Oh, it's
months, forget it,
brutal.
forget it. I mean,
It's
there
brutal.
was days when I thought I was getting heat exhaustion because it gets
Oh
so
yeah.
hot. And now, just like I didn't even know this industry existed on this level at the time, and so being able to
Yeah.
do what I do now, my God, I mean, I love what I do now, like literally. I mean, and I hope I meet a lot of people. You see what everybody does, man. I really hope everybody loves what they do, man, because this,
Yeah.
like, what more could we ask for, especially from compared to cleaning swimming pools? I mean, this is a dream come true. So it's just exciting to see what's next and we're always trying to
Yeah.
see what's next and what we can do to make stuff cooler and everything. So
How can you one up that project to what's the next cool project that you can do?
right, right. Well, a lot of this stuff, we got to give credit to a lot of these architects and designers and stuff because we
Yeah.
do design stuff. Like we're designing an entire resort right now in the Bahamas. Um, but
Oh, that's
we
cool.
most of the jobs that we're on with architects who are responsible for the design of the house and the pools even, and
Yeah.
we help them develop that design um, with our technical knowledge of all of the concrete, steel, and MEP stuff, the plumbing and
Yeah.
everything. But there's
All the
another one
complicated parts of
that we have coming up. Um, Yeah, exactly. Right. They send us like it's sometimes it's funny. It's like they send us just kind of an outline and it's like, okay, well, yeah, we need to work on this a little bit. You know, they send us an idea and we have to
Yeah,
like make that
we're gonna have to work on that just a little bit.
right, right. Well, we had to do a little bit that with a little bit of that with
So
the
let me ask you this,
Lambo pool
man.
too. Well, go ahead, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, how do you take that from a design to make that a reality? I'm sure the process there on that was less than easy to do with all the detail, especially, how do you get that edge perfect when you have an inch of water on it?
Right.
Less than an
Yeah.
inch. Like that's not an easy thing to do by any
No,
means.
not at all. No, we had to actually had to
So
contact Lamborghini.
yeah, oh, I'm sure. So let me ask you this, man. You have managed to blow up on Instagram in a big way recently, I feel like. And for the most part, you've handled all of your social media up until I think recently when you guys have started looking for somebody, correct?
But yeah, more or less.
So how have you managed to do that? What have you found? I know there's no magic like, hey, do this and your Instagram's gonna go crazy. But what has been, probably the biggest part of that success in that?
Well, it's so that's a really good question, Chris, because we're doing that recently. You're right. It's like that was kind of the start of this year. One of the goals for the company this year is to develop our sales and marketing pillar, which we currently
Yeah,
don't have because most of our work, and we've just been blessed up to this point, very fortunate. Most of our work comes through referrals. But we
yeah,
don't want to rely on that because so in any good business you have to have, there's like five pillars and one of them is sales and one of them is marketing. One of our goals for this year is to develop those pillars. Um, and I've tried a couple people, we had a couple different people trying to help us with that at one point. But I learned that the hard way. I thought that you could just hire somebody to do something like marketing or your social media and they would just do it better than you. And I kind of learned that I didn't realize it was going to be as much work or I was going to need to be involved as much. So after
I think
going
that's
through
what
a
a lot
couple
of people
different,
don't realize.
yeah, I don't know why I thought that, but I guess it just seemed like, okay, if I need somebody to do our engineering or something like this, like, okay, well, I'll just hire an engineer or just hire a social media
Yeah,
marketing person. and just leave that person, and then they'll check in with me weekly. But that's not how it works, unfortunately. If it did,
Well,
I
I
mean,
think
everybody would
especially as
probably
being
have
the
their own
face of the
business.
company as
But
well,
so
I think a lot of the videos that you guys are doing plays a big part in that because you're so prominent in them, which I personally like, by the way. That was something that, we used to emulate as well, is have the face of the business be at the forefront of a lot of this because it helps build the
right.
brand.
Well, and you've been doing that longer than I have too. But so the biggest thing, what I finally realized, and a lot of this stuff is trial and error. Like, look, if you don't know how to do it, you just start doing it, and you kind of figure it out. That's kind of just how I've done everything. And at this point in the business's life, we're just at the sales and marketing. So we tried stuff for a long time. We've been posting on social for a little bit. It just, we weren't getting anywhere because
Yeah.
we just didn't know what we were doing. Now that I'm reading books and learning more, and now at night I'll stay up nights, man. I'm looking at social media to learn how to do social media, and just marketing in general, by the way, not just social media.
Yeah.
And so I'm much more hands-on, and for right now, I am the one. I reverted back to, okay. Let's start over. Let's start fresh. I started managing it. Right now, I'm managing 99% of it. Um, I do have somebody now that's helping me do the video editing. Um, it's a part-time student from UM, and she's been great, actually. But you know what? It just goes back to the same. It goes back to the same thing, where if you have the right people, it gets easier because now we're working together. She's a marketing student at UM, much younger than, I think she's 26 or something like that. Like, I'm 35. So, um, different generations, she
Yeah.
kind of has an idea. And so we're trying stuff, we're posting stuff. There was a video that we posted that didn't do very well. And we go back and we realize, okay, the intro was a little bit slow. So let's shorten the intro. Let's put some words on it, and let's see if this, and it did. We reposted it, and it did better. So now we're trying different things. Um, we're having meetings about these posts. It's actually, so there's a lot of work that goes into it. I'm surprised how much work it is. You see all these influencers and all these people posting, and it looks super easy. They make it look
It
super
is
easy.
not.
And it is not, man. There's a reason that companies, hire, or that people hire companies to do this kind of stuff.
Mhm.
It is not easy at all.
Yeah, because it's a lot of work. I mean, it's a lot of, not only is it a lot of work, it's expensive to buy all the equipment to do it. I
Yeah,
don't think a lot of people realize that aspect of it either, is it costs money to buy these cameras. Can you film all of it from your iPhone? Yes. Is it best to do that? Probably not.
right. It depends what you're
But
going for. I mean, it depends, and that's the other thing too. You
yeah,
got to kind of figure out. You got to figure out what you want to say, and what your um, like what your value. You got to figure out your core values, what your message is essentially. And we've kind of just,
that's exactly right.
yeah. So it's a lot of work, man. That's
So,
really there's no substitute for that, unfortunately, and that's in all aspects of your business.
no,
There's no
there's not.
substitute for it.
So I saw a photo shoot of you recently where you were able to do some photos underwater to kind of help brand a little bit. Man, I loved it. Walk us through kind of how that came about and really the thought process behind that.
Wait, sorry, you cut out there. I think my internet's a little
Oh,
slow.
sorry. So I saw recently you had done a photo shoot underwater. I remember a couple years back you had done something similar, I feel like, but this I felt like was quite a bit different. What was kind of the thought process behind that and how did that come about?
Yeah, the first one we did that you're talking about a long time ago, man, we
Yeah.
did that in one of the pools that I used to service over at Eastern Shores. That was when I was still cleaning pools. And I've always been the creative type. I was a creative kid growing
Yeah.
up. I mean, that mostly got me in trouble in school, but what came of that seemed to work out pretty well. So I don't know where the idea came from. I just thought it'd be cool to do like an underwater photo in like in a suit. And I went out there, like, actually with my girlfriend at the time, and it was during winter time too, so it was freezing cold. I obviously didn't plan that very well, but we took an underwater photo on the steps with that's when the GoPros first came out. So I was taking the GoPro
Okay.
everywhere, and so I think that's kind of what prompted it. The GoPro was out, and I was like, oh, let's see what we can get some underwater stuff. Um, and so we got a cool photo underwater, but then recently, but that one it looks a little bit old now. So now that we're actually working on the new business and everything, we were out at a photo shoot for that project, which is actually that project's awesome. It's the only private island in Palm Beach.
Oh,
It
really?
was, oh yeah, it was one of the top 10 on the Rob's report, top 10 most expensive pieces of real estate for sale in the world.
That's
Um,
wild.
yeah, the property's
Dang.
it's crazy. But so we were doing a photo shoot with Jimmy Smith, and it's hot, man. It's hot down here. So after the photo shoot, I thought it'd be cool to do like an updated photo. We didn't plan it though because uh, we took it. We ended up taking it with the iPhone. We took it with my iPhone. So we just kind of hopped in the pool because we did a cool
So
like
how'd you
ending to
get
the
it
video.
underwater? Can you take a photo underwater?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have to use the side buttons. Um, but Jimmy was taking screenshots actually. He was taking screenshots. It wasn't actually a true photo. It was a screenshot of the image that was displayed in the camera underwater. And then Jimmy edited them and they came out sweet. But so we have
That's cool.
plans to do some new ones, but actually plan it where he brings his underwater housing and puts the actual big camera in there. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, that's something we're working
Man,
on.
that's really cool. That's see stuff like that's just so unique though, in my opinion, that it really helps kind of build that brand of, hey, this is our underwater specialist. Even
Right,
his company photos are of him underwater. Like that just goes to show you how specialized these guys are. I
right,
think
right.
that's
Well,
cool.
I think it's for us, it's just like you know, yeah, a lot of the work that we do is very serious, and we're selling reliability and that we're experts to clients and everything, and we
Yeah.
are. But at the same time, I mean, on a personal level, like we still like to have fun with this stuff, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's kind of where it comes from. It's like, um, if I had to be serious all the time, I mean, that would probably kill me. But I just enjoy what I do, when we're doing these things, we're just what can we do that's cool on this one or something. So we just kind of
Yeah.
try to have some fun with it.
Yeah. You got to have fun with it, man. Got to have fun with it. So, well, Johnny, I really appreciate
I'm
your
having
time today,
some
man.
like internet.
You froze on me
I was
for
gonna
a
say
minute.
I don't know if I don't know if you're getting it on your end, but I'm getting some like some internet stuff on my end.
Yeah, it's all good though. We'll go ahead and wrap it up, man. What is one piece of advice that you would give to inspiring young entrepreneurs that are wanting to start their own business?
Oh man, that's a good question that I was not prepared for.
That's a tough
It's
one.
hard. I mean, just keep going, man. Just keep going. It's just keep your head down and work and learn, man. Just keep learning and keep going, and you'll come out the other side all right. It's not supposed to be easy,
Yeah.
but it's worth it,
No.
and it's entirely doable. You know, the more and it's what it's interesting. One of the things I'll preface that by saying I was watching a podcast and they were talking about like self growth, and they were saying that you can only take your business as far as
Absolutely.
you're able to
Absolutely,
develop
man.
personally. And I think
I think we
that's
broke up again,
very. I'm
unfortunately.
noticing that now. Oh shit. Well,
No, you're
can you
good.
hear
You're
me
good.
now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. No, we're good.
Okay.
We got everything. We're good, man. So
Okay.
we'll go ahead and say goodbye for now, brother. But it's been an absolute pleasure. For those that are interested in working with you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you? Is it through social media or through website?
Oh, we're frozen again. God damn. Sorry. I think you can hear me now. We're frozen. I think you were asking what's the best way to reach me. So our website is smart-aquatics.com.
All right. Well, I think we
Our
lost Johnny,
Instagram
but
is
it's
at
all good. So
smart.aquatics.
Smart Aquatics is the company name. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook. I think I cut you off on accident. It stopped on my end. But appreciate
I
your
think
time today,
I
Johnny,
think
man. We'll go ahead and wrap up the recording on it and call it a day, brother. I appreciate your
thanks.
time.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. We'll talk soon, man.
All right.